116 Hotline.
And welcome back to 116 Hotline. If this is your first time here, hello. If this is not your first time here, welcome back
To the best.
116 Hotline is a podcast where we talk about anything and everything. Guess what? Because we can, because it's our podcast. Go ahead.
I am Sadie.
And I am Sutana, and we are your host of 116 Hotline. Period. So we like to do these from time to time. We're going to start off with a mental health check-in.
Yes, ma'am. It's been quite a bit.
And before we do that, pause this and do a mental health check-in with yourself. Where are you at mentally?
How are you feeling lately?
How are you really doing?
Love it.
Period. All right, I'll see you.
I hope they didn't say that I'm on a 3 and I said love it. Anyway, okay. Mental health check where I'm at. Like
on a scale of 1 to 10.
That's what we like to do.
1 being I need to get him hit. Yeah. 10 being
Wait.
I love life.
Living top of the world. Okay. I think mentally for me right now, I think I'm at like a 6-7-ish.
I love that.
Thanks.
For you.
I feel like I don't think I've ever been at a 10.
No,
because I'm being realistic. If I'm being realistic, I don't think I've ever been at a 10. Like if I am ever at a 10, then it's like a short amount of time.
Oh.
And I don't think that's sad. I think it's just realistic for me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, that's that. But typically I'm like around a 6 or 7 right now. I really am typically around a 6 or 7, and that's where I am at today. And just
any particular reason why?
Oh, well, yes, actually. I am going to have my first ever nephew coming up. I'm so
Wait, do they have a name yet?
They kind of do, but they don't. Like they're between 2 names right now. So I feel like they're leaning more towards the other than one than the other.
I'm so excited.
I'm so freaking excited, dude. So that is another reason why I'm just so like giggity right now, because giggity. Get girl. Oh my gosh, ADHD kicking in again. But anyway, I am just so excited for that, because the other day I went to my sister-in-law's house, and I literally her niece and myself, we helped her organize everything in the room.
I love that for you
because
guys.
Obviously she's like pregnant, so she can't move a lot of things around.
Yeah.
So we literally like organize all of the clothes, like from months, like from newborn to 0 to 3 and everything.
That's the way to do it.
I know, just so she's have it ready to go. She wants to make sure everything's ready to go, so she does not have to worry about it last minute, rush everything.
Yes.
One of her friends got her a little thing that has like the little, what are those called? Those little hooks with the numbers on it. So there's a newborn.
Oh my god, I've always wanted those.
They're so freaking cute, and it's like wooden. It's all aesthetically her thing too. So we put everything in. Like I feel like I was working in a retail store again, but I was putting everything in order. It was so cute, and we built all her things and wrote everything up. She's very, very particular too, and she knows this. She's very OCD and very like she wants everything to be rolled like this way, nice. But then it's very, very neat. Yeah. So whenever she pull it out, everything's all rolled up nicely. So it's really, really cute.
Well, whenever you posted like the video of it, I was like, wow, it literally looks like a store.
It looks like a store. And the diaper's all nicely and everything. She just pulls it out, it's all ready to go for the most part. So I am very, very excited about that. That is a reason why I am like around 6 to 7, because that's our very first like ever
baby in the family.
I'm so excited for that. And then just like everything else is just kind of like it's going good. Like, you know, like it's not necessarily like horrible. Like last week, I had not horrible, but I had like a long week at work. It was a long week. It was draining. It was just like, ooh, like I think it's because it's so close to the holidays. Yeah. So everything has just been like chaotic too. But at the same time, like in the last episode where we talked about like embracing the struggles and all that, you know, I'm trying to be more mindful of that. So yeah, it's like 6-ish, 7 right now. I just touching back on physical, I could be better, but then because everything's so busy, and I know it's all excuses, whatever, all the time, but still realistically, you know, just it's like a thing after another all the time. So I really haven't had the time for, you know, my physical health. But I mean, dieting, I've been okay, I think. I mean, I don't know. I feel okay, but it could be better. So I'm definitely going to, you know, make more time for that. I know that even if I don't, the more I say it, the more I can, you know, like make it do it, you know.
Well, and as long as like you're eating like pretty good.
Yes.
Even if you're not going to the gym every single day, at least you're eating pretty good.
Exactly. I've still been trying to stay active at least a little bit. So
good.
Yeah, so that's
I love that for you.
Thanks.
So for me, I'm probably at like I would say I'm like at like a good 8.
Ooh,
I'm at a good 8.
There, sis.
You know, making a lot of life changes, a lot,
dude.
A lot of life changes, and just believing in myself and doing what I want to do in life, and most importantly, having a strong support system to like back me up with that as well. Like if I didn't have a good support system, I would not be able to chase my dreams. So that's like I'm at an 8 because I'm just living high off life
and the dream.
Yes, everything is going good right now. So
that's so good. I'm so excited for you. Like everything you have going for you, I'm so freaking excited for you.
Me too.
I know. And the craziest thing is that not this episode, but the one before, the midlife crisis one, I thought it was so perfect because we were just talking about career changes in general. Yeah. And then literally like 2-3 weeks after that, boom, that happened to you. Yeah. I think it was bound to happen, dude. Like everything just falls perfectly in line.
Well, everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And sometimes you don't know that when things like when life changes are going to happen. Sometimes I believe you just have to go with the flow.
Yes.
Like just have to go with the flow. It'll if it's your time, then it's your time. It'll come. You just got to do it.
What's meant for you will not pass you by. Always.
Yes.
Always.
So I actually wanted to bring up like support systems, like support people.
I love that.
Because I feel like not often in life, especially in your adult life, like you really don't get time to tell people how much you love and appreciate them.
Yes.
And I just wanted to say and give you your flowers. I love and appreciate you. I've been going through like a lot of life changes and things like that. And it's just, I feel like you really have to just tell people in your life that you love and you care about them and like you appreciate them.
Absolutely.
Especially like you said, going into the holidays. Yes. It gets so mentally, because like, especially like if you don't do well with your family, like you're already in a mentally like rough place. So I just feel like letting people know that you're there for them and that you love and appreciate them, because it can go a long way, because you never know what people are going through themselves. And basically after we were helping your sister-in-law with her baby shower, she messaged me and she was like,
she did.
Yeah, she's like, thank you for being a good sister to Sadie and everything. And I was just like, no, like truly, like,
I didn't know she messaged you.
Yeah, she messaged me and said that, and I was like, "Stop! You're gonna make me tear." No, but it's just like I'm very, very thankful for you and like our sisterhood, and I feel like we, as often as we are adults going through our busy lives, we don't have time to stop, or we don't tell people enough how much we love and appreciate them, because that's just. Life is what you make of it, and you have to really lean on your people and thank them for being there. So I just want to say thank you.
Bring it in, sister. Bring it in.
For being like, a sister, and like I love and appreciate you.
I love that. I'm crying too, also because of the fumes from my glue from yesterday. Like the eyelashes.
I'm messing up your eyes.
That's an excuse too, so I can cry. Just kidding. But no. Oh my gosh, I love that. That is so true. I didn't even know that she messaged you.
Yeah.
I love that. No.
I love her.
Because, yes, I do agree on that. Well, going back to you, I also do want to give you your flowers. Do I have eye-pickers?
No, you don't. Okay. No,
but like I do want to also give you your flowers. Like, remember that one day I randomly sent you like on Snap the little flowers picture?
Yeah, I was like, what
is this? I don't remember what we were talking about or something. I don't even know what it was. But I was like, I'm gonna send her virtual flowers. So on Snapchat you can do like these little cute stupid emoji thing, bitmojis. So I'm like, here are your flowers. Like, and then I was like, just giving your flowers. I think it was right after we had a conversation about death. Remember where we like giving them flowers?
We were going through a rough time.
Yes, we were going through a rough time. So I was like, let me just send this to her, because I truly agree. Like, and wow, thanks to my sister-in-law Lisa for saying that, because I mean that's exactly how I feel too. Like, I think throughout, like from the gender reveal to the baby shower and everything, that it's just like, obviously it's not me, but it's my brother, my sister-in-law. And I remember you said something. Why am I getting emotional now? Because you said something to me. I was telling Satan, I was like, oh, thank you so much for showing up for me. And she's like, it's important to you, so it's gonna be important to me. And I'm like, why am I emotional right now? Just thinking about that, because like I think Sutana just really, really sees me and like see that what's important for me, and she will always show up. And that's what I really do appreciate about you, because you've been showing up for me since day one. And yeah, I have a lot of other friends too that will do the same, but then it's like, man, like you're really literally on the top, because you really do genuinely care. And I do really, really appreciate that, because I grew up with just brothers only.
Yeah.
And my sister-in-law is there too, obviously, but then I mean, I don't know, just being in a friendship with you forever now too. Just like I just really, really appreciate it, and I'm gonna give you your flowers as well.
Oh, come here.
Oh yeah, we need some tissues. Oh gosh.
Well, just because I see it as like, you know, like I'm your like a big sister is how I see it,
yes,
you know, and
literally.
I'm like, you don't ever have to say thank you because, you know, I feel like the family that you're given is your family, but then,
God.
you know, your chosen family, like that you choose to be like that close with, chosen like family. that's just a whole nother level, you know, and like you're a great example of that. And, you know, I always tell people like the ones that show up for you, like you said, on your important days when you need it the most those are the ones that like you know that they're your ride or die.
And that's the one those are the things where the times where I will forever remember, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's kind of like when we talked about the death episode where you're like when you're at your deepest and down, like your deepest and lowest, the people you are always going to remember the ones that were there for you when you're at your lowest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're always going to remember that. You know, when you're on top, of course everybody can be congratulations, you can be in your face and you know giving you your flowers then. But what about whenever you were at your lowest? Who was there?
Yeah.
Or whenever you needed the most or something that's most important to you? Like the people that show up for you at the time are the ones that I really do hold dearly to my heart. Like, because you know that you're like, man, like they're really here for me, you know? And it's just like you said, like giving you like gratitude and everything. Like it's what is it? Words? No, it can never, what's that
like
saying?
Actions?
Not actions, but kind of like I can never repay you back, I guess. What's another saying for that?
Like words will never be enough.
No, I'm trying to think. It's oh my gosh. You know, whenever you're saying like I'm so thankful for this, like I can never repay you back, but then there's like a saying for it. There's a word for it. I can't think of it. It'll come to me. But do you know what I'm talking about? No, I can never. I don't even remember. I don't remember. It'll come to me. ADHD brain. Because whenever you're saying the thing about chosen family, something popped in my head too. Hang on. Did you ever finish saying your mental health? You did, right?
Yeah.
Gosh, girl.
Yeah. See, ADHD. No, but like, like even I don't know. I've just been thinking about that a lot and like support systems and people that you choose to have in your life, and it really. You know, I had someone that reached out to me actually, and they had expressed that they had gone through something similar as I have in my marriage life, and you know, with my experience with just drama and stuff like that. And you know, I told her, and you know, that made me just realize that it's important to let people know that they're not alone. Because especially going through. Especially in our Hmong community, like the women, once you get married, there's so much expectations and stuff that happens to you that I just feel like I had to be that support person for her because I have been through it. So when she was expressing these things to me in my DMs, I was like, hey, like I literally know what you're going through. Literally, like I have been through it and you're not alone, you know? And I think just being there and showing empathy to people that are in situations that you've been through and just being like, hey, I can be that support person for you. You know, and I just think that comes back to you like 100 times, and just doing it out of the goodness of your heart. Like just be a good person. It can go such a long way. Like quite honestly, it can even save a life. To be honest, when it can get to those type of situations. So I started thinking about like you know, like just you. I value Val. I value, you know, like my circle is so small for a reason. And I think that when you have a small circle of support, when you're younger, I feel like in your 20s, you kind of like, I want a big friend group. I want a big support system. I remember we talked about that. Yeah. But then I feel like as you get older, it's like sometimes you have to start weeding them out. You have to start compressing. I think it all goes down to, I mean, we talked about like intentions. Like, are these people really, are they in your life for, you know, like good intentions? Are they in your life? Do they truly care about you and, you know, just you like what's important to you in general? Or are they just there for like, hey, I'm a friend. I want to be considered a friend. I want to be considered a friend. So I want to be there to celebrate stuff, then we do celebrating stuff. Yeah. You know what I mean? But to be a true friend and to be like somebody like in your life, like they have to be there. Like they would genuinely want to be there for you for everything in your life. You know? And that's true. I feel the same way as I'm older now. I can really weigh out like who are really always there for me. Like I can go to this person if I really needed something, and they would, you know, they would follow through. So I mean, even if it's something as small as like,
I just really want to talk to this person about this situation, and I know this person will show up for me, understand me. You know what I mean? Like, I can really, weigh out my options at that time. I mean, right now that I'm older, and I can just really, like, depend on.
And I think that's a big part of it too, is the dependability, right? Yes. Like, who you can go to for certain things, and who's going to be able to show up for you when you need it the most. And I feel like especially the friendships that I value the most, or the relationships that I value the most, are the ones where you don't have to say anything at all, and they know,
and they just know,
you're going through a tough time, and they just, like, they will do what they need to do.
Check up on you.
Yeah, check up on you and to support you whenever you don't even need to say a word.
That's so true. That is
like, those are the relationships I value the most, because it's
absolutely.
It's just an unspoken, like, I know you're going through something, and I know that you need some extra support, so I'm here for you if you ever need to talk.
It doesn't even have to be like, hey, what's going on? Like, tell me what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's more like a respectful kind of like, hey, just a reminder, I am here whenever you're ready. Boom, I'm here.
Yeah, I've learned to. I love those.
I've learned to really, really approach it that way too. I remember Leslie and I, we had a conversation like that too, where it's like, again, back to the last episode, boundaries too. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to overstep boundaries. Like, you want to show respect, but then you also want to remind them that, hey, I'm here whenever you're ready. I am here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you're going through things or whatnot, but then if you are, take your time, whatever you need. I will be here. I think that's the definition of just being a true friend, like true friendship and genuine.
Yeah, and I think, like, even, like, I had talked to another friend recently, and she's been going through it, like, just in a rut, and she's like, I don't know what happened to that creative spirit of mine. Like, I'm so drained with work and like just life, and I don't know how to get back to who I was. And I was trying to give her words of encouragement, and I was like, you'll find it. You'll find it. You know who you are. And I think really being a good person and a good friend and a good special person in anyone's life is really just knowing who these people are, like, their personalities. So being able to, like, I think reconfirm, reaffirm, like, hey, this is who you are. Like, don't get distracted by other things. Like, you will find the who you are again. Like, you'll find who you are again and what you're meant to do with your life.
And I feel like, as much as people may say, because there are people out there that are like, I'm a one team man or whatever, like, I can handle stuff on my own. I know how to, like, redirect my feelings and my emotions if I'm ever down. And, like, as much as people want to say that, at the end of the day,
we're humans.
Like, if a person in your circle or something were to say a little bit of something to, like, help, like, be the extra push for you, it will go a long way.
Yeah.
Because, quite honestly, I used to be that way. I used to be kind of more of a closed off on the emotional side, where I'm like, I don't really like to talk about my emotions. I don't want to talk about what I'm going through. Like, I'm good. Like, I can handle it on my own type of shit, right? But now, as I'm older, I'm like, dang, it really does go a long way when somebody just say something like it, like, even people don't even know. Like, so for example, I work, like, I had a really close friend there where we don't really see each other anymore because she's in a different hall now. But every time, like, whenever I walk past by, she'll say, hey, good morning. Oh, that's a face I like to see. Like, just being positive. And I'm like, oh, that makes me feel fuzzy and warm on the inside.
Like, she's looking out for me.
Yeah. Like, that makes me feel so warm and fuzzy on the inside. As much as, I could have never, I never thought it would. But then, like, just something so little like that could really go a long way and could potentially be the extra push for you to, like, keep going.
And what I keep seeing in this era is a lot of us, even though we're on social media and things like that, online, chronically online, a lot of us are really lonely.
Girl.
And
that's, when it comes down to it, I think that's what it is.
That is. It's like a lot of us are lonely. Like, no matter how many followers you have, no matter how many friends online you have, like, we just want that human interaction.
Yes.
We want to have dinner. We want to have conversations like this. And I feel like that's kind of what I used to be like, I think, like, what you said too, like, closed off, where you're just like, I don't have time for that. Like, I don't want to be, like, emotionally involved with other people or have to, like, show my emotions. But at the end of the day, it's like, I'm human. I'm gonna need that interaction. I want someone that I can lean on to have funny conversations with, like, to just be there with my support people that love and appreciate me, because it feels good.
It does feel good. It feels so good. Like, I always look forward to, for example, like, the baby shower too and everything, like, coming up. I was looking forward to, because I'm going to be surrounded with the people that I love most. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, like, even though, yes, it's a lot of work, but I'm excited because it's, like, for a good thing, and I'm going to see all of the people that I love around me, and we just get to come together. So that really does tie in with the holidays coming up, and did you say something about chosen family earlier? Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
because I wanted to dabble back on that, because it's not stupid, actually. It's actually really good. So you remember how I was telling you that I watched the movie The Wild Robot? And I know you guys haven't watched it yet.
Oh my gosh, I haven't watched it yet.
So I watched it obviously like a few weeks ago, and I cried and bawled like a baby. It's one of the best movies ever. If you haven't yet, you need to watch it, especially if you have kids.
I might bring Oliver tonight.
Do it, dude. I think it's the movie theaters. It should.
I don't like Owasso though, because the Owasso theaters are so dirty.
Go to the Tulsa. I'm pretty sure it's
might go to 41st.
Yeah, go see if it's still playing, because if it is, you have to do. And you're gonna cry your eyes out, bro. Especially
I'm an empath.
You're an empath, and just knowing you as you are, you're gonna cry. If I cry, girl, you're gonna cry. But so yeah, I now remember Val said she was going to take her boys to watch it too, because so. Levi's reading at school, so she needs to take them. But anyway, it's one of the best movies ever. So yesterday I rewatched. Well, I didn't rewatch it, but I watched like reviews. I'm I love movies, and I like to not critique, but I like to analyze a lot of things. That's just me. I like to really analyze like stories and movies and stuff, and like the plot, and I'm very much like that. So I was watching a lot of reviews, and I was watching a review yesterday of this one YouTuber guy with his this girl, and they were analyzing at the end, right?
Yeah.
And they mentioned something about the chosen family, because that's kind of like a part of it. They're like, oh, like that movie has a lot of symbolisms and themes and stuff, like chosen families and identity, and it's all the above, girl. It's so good. Like it has such a good message. And they mentioned the chosen family, and that chosen families that families are who shows up for you, and it doesn't always have to just be like biological or bloodline. Family is your most important. Families are the ones that will show up for you no matter what, and that's what a chosen family is. Like you choose who your families, and who you want your families to be. And I'm like, dang, like that's so true. And it's like for example, I consider you family, obviously. I consider you family. So it was just, I don't know, it really pulled a heartstring. It was really good. So that's the chosen family thing. And then I was going to mention, whenever you said something about holidays coming up, and not everybody has a good relationship with their families. And unfortunately, I would consider myself privileged in this area, because I have never really had that, So I've always thought holidays are fun and beautiful and love and laughter.
But you know what? Props to you for acknowledging that.
Thank you.
That you are privileged in that.
Mm-hmm. That was exactly. I think that was brave for me to admit.
But I'm kind of am privileged with that too. Like to the point where I'm kind of the same way with my side of the family. It's like it's always been this happy-go-lucky thing, but not everyone has that experience.
And because even though it's crazy, because it always passes my mind, and I've been saying this a lot to Zatanna, that like it's like we tend to
turn a blind eye.
Yeah, turn a blind eye on a lot of things. But it's like the most simplest thing sometimes, where you're like, don't forget about that, because this can also be a situation. So as soon as you brought that up, boom, I had like a little like a light bulb that went up. I was like, oh, you're right. Like and I remember I mentioned that I think this year I also really want to be more mindful. I mean, as I have been already, but I really do want to be more mindful, because that's a prime example. That would have never crossed my mind if you didn't mention it. Have you not mentioned it? So I actually do know people around me that they don't have the best relationship with their family members, or maybe they just had a loss in a family member. So holidays can actually be kind of triggering, rather than like a.
That's why I kind of want to do like a Friendsgiving and like a Christmas event, or just for like the people that are listening to this podcast.
I love that.
Because it's like not, especially if like they don't talk to their family anymore, and they're like no contact, like those people don't have good relationships with holidays, and maybe they're just trying to find a way to reconnect again.
So for some people, unfortunately, holidays are just like another day for them, or it might be like, if anything, they might want to avoid it because it could be triggering. But I mean, dang, that's a really good point. I'm so glad you brought that up. I do eventually want us to do like a little gathering for our listeners and our podcast in general too.
Maybe we'll do it in December.
Let's do that to make it like not a new meaning, but like just to kind of like have a meaning to like the holidays, and to celebrate together. Like we are your family, you know, like you viewers and listeners, like we are your family. You can consider us your family, and we can, find something beautiful in this together. Because
like no matter what your past experience has been, or no matter what your insight about the holidays are, it's like, back to like the chosen family thing, like you can choose who you surround yourself with, and it doesn't necessarily have to be blood, because trust me, sometimes even blood you don't want to be around, and that's okay too. Like you can choose what you want to do.
Boundaries.
And I think that's a common misconception, is that just because they're family, you're going to automatically have to be around these people.
You have to be,
But no, it's not like that. Like if you believe that you've been treated wrong and you just don't align with their values, you don't have to necessarily be around them. And although it sucks for the family, it's like that's your right. You're a human. That's your prerogative, You can choose what you want to do, and that's the awesome thing about being a human, is
that's true.
You are in control of your own life.
Of your own life.
Yeah.
Of your own life. Whether they give you like the cold shoulders or whatever. Like if you feel like you have been mistreated, then they don't deserve to be around you.
Yeah.
I gotta put me first.
Yeah. And like I don't know, I just love, like, especially this time of year, I think it's important to like reflect. My heart really goes out to the people that have lost family members during this time.
I can't imagine.
Holidays are really hard, and that's why I really like want to emphasize and voice, like, lean on your support people if holidays are tough for you, because those people are going to be the ones that, you know, can help lift you out of a dark place. And you know, lean on them. Like, they're your support people for a reason. And, you know, you can always make new traditions. I always feel like people are accustomed to old traditions and how things have always been, but it's like you can decide what traditions you continue in your life, and whether that be, you know, going to your local bar and, like, you know, eating a pie with like strangers or something, you know, like you're in charge of what traditions you make, and you have a choice to make holidays a good thing, a positive for future. Yes, absolutely. I like the tradition thing. That's true. You can keep the same one, or maybe start a new one, you know, if whatever your circumstances might be at this, you know, at the time. So that's a really great point. Have you ever seen This Is Us, the movie, the TV show?
I've seen bits and pieces,
dude,
but I don't think I can do it, because I would probably bawl like a baby.
You would,
because I've seen bits and pieces on TikTok and whatnot. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm crying already. Isn't it like a show that's like about true raw situations in life too, or something?
Yeah.
Like that?
So basically, it's about a TV show about a family, and it's a mom and dad, and they had triplets, but then one of the triplets died. So, and it's a white family, and so they adopted a black baby. So it's like the black baby and then the boy and the girl. So it's all three kids and the parents. And throughout the TV show, it goes back from like present moment to the past when they were babies, to when they were toddlers, teenagers, adults. It goes back and forth, and like throughout that time they lost their dad, and like how that affected their life. And then it's just so
that's deep.
It's real, because it deals with real things like racism. It deals with, you know, loss. It deals with aging, like the whole thing. And I really recommend that TV show. Like, gosh. I know it's been out for a while, but I just binged it a couple months ago, and oh my god.
How many seasons are there?
I think there's like 6 seasons.
Holy okay, so it has been.
But like, I binged it. Like, it was like,
I think I would binge it too. I'm kind of a binger.
It was really, really good. And I think, like, I don't know, just growing up, like, it makes me think about relationships more and holding value. Holding value to relationships more, especially the people that are close to me, and letting them know that I love and appreciate them. And like how much that goes, like, it goes a long way. Yeah.
Even just a quick little, hey, thank you so much for, you know, I agree. I think in our culture, especially, I mean, in our culture in general, and in my family growing up, we don't really show a whole lot of gratitude, at least through words or actions, right? At least through words or actions. Well, I mean, I guess
it's just like
actions. It's just
quiet.
It's more like quiet, like appreciation thing, like
here's an extra chicken thigh or something like that. like
exactly.
We don't really say thank you.
We don't really say thank you, or we don't really say I love you. You know, like it's not normalized for us. And you know, in a lot of families, in the Asian community, if I do say so myself, but I mean, not every single one, but in the Asian communities and the minorities, we don't really express it that way, right?
Yeah.
So it's again uncomfortable, right? And then you have to, you know, you grow the most when you're uncomfortable. But then I agree with you, as I get older, and especially with that episode when we just talked about death and whatnot and loss, you know, you need to I am going to express it more, you know, because you just really never know. And like your support system are the people that are really behind you. They are holding you 10
I feel like the generation above us, they didn't really say I love you and show affection like that. But I feel like that's changing with our generation. Because you know, I tell my kids, I'm like, you know, I love you. I love it. So you know, I forgive you for like saying something wrong, like give them hugs, give them kisses. And so I think that's why my kids are very like physical touch. Yes. Like especially
but
like
they're also emotionally aware. They're very, very emotionally aware. I love how your kids are so, because even Isla, she's so like talkative in the way how she explains everything. She's like, I don't want that. And because this, and I'm like, oh, she's very, very aware.
She is like, even like when I get mad at her, I'm like, or when she gets mad at me and she does something, I'm like, I forgive you, like, or no, what happened was I did something and I was like, I want to show her that that's not right.
Why?
So I literally went up to her. I was like, Isla, do you forgive me? I was like, I'm sorry for being mean. And then now she knows that word, so she's like, Mommy, you forgive me, Mommy. And I'm like, okay, like, you know, like teaching our kids that it's okay to be like emotionally aware,
yes,
and like have that affection, and you know, that's like how you change.
You break the generational trauma curse, whatever it is. That it starts with us. It really starts with us, because like you said, our older generations, they're not used to that. So obviously now it's like, like it's kind of weird for them to hear that from us, you know. But I do want to, oh my gosh, I saw a video on TikTok. I will find this so we can post it on our stories. But it's I think she's a doctor or something, and she's like Vietnamese. And I reposted it, and I remember somebody commented on it too, where she said that, she's like older. I think I want to say she's maybe in her 50s. And she mentioned that, I think it was a few weeks before her dad had passed, and she said something about, she had a conversation with her mom on the phone, and they were talking about how they don't express like I love you and this stuff like that. And then so she said that I guess she had a conversation with her mom before, and they were on the phone, and she asked her mom, like, how come we never say I love you, blah, 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 this and that. Her mom just said, well, because we just were never used to it. So they had a conversation. They came into an understanding. They were on the phone for like hours, and at the very end, she said that she explained it so well to him. I was like bawling at this time, and she explained that right before they were about to hang up, her and her mom kind of knew, just like from the other side of the phone, that they were just waiting for one or the other to say it first. And then she goes, okay, Mom, well, bye, I love you. And then like her mom said it too. And then like I guess it was either her mom or her dad, I cannot remember. And then they said it first, they said it as back, and she said that the next time they saw them in person, then she said it more, and then her dad was like saying it again. She said that that was the first time she saw her dad smile that big. And then like her dad had passed. I was like, I was like bawling. I was like, what in the world? But then that was a prime example of breaking those generational, you know, things that you're just not used to, because like at the end of the day, I bet you in that day, like at that time, she said that she most likely just healed a part of her dad. You know what I'm saying? I was like, oh my God. Like, as much as my parents, you know, they're more traditional in that way too. They don't really say these type of things. But I also feel like it's whenever we have our baby nephew coming through, you know, like I'm going to see a different side of them. And I'm like, I'm so excited for that, because I feel like in a way it's going to heal us seeing our parents like that with like kids, or like, you know, just it's going to heal them too.
But do you know what quote I love? What? It's like, your parents are going to turn into the parents that you wish you had. Once they get grandkids.
I think I've seen stuff like that.
Like, because they are so different, and they literally are going to be like, you're going to almost question, like, I don't know if you're going to feel like this, but this is how I thought of it, was like, how come you weren't like that for me?
Us?
Like, you weren't like that for us. Like, you weren't happy all the time. You weren't lucky. You weren't. So it's almost like a battle within yourself. Like, you have to like realize, like, all right, girl, they're grandparents. Like they only get these kids a little bit, not all the time.
Yes. You know? That's true. That's true. It's a way to give yourself grace, or them grace. And what I'm thinking already is that maybe with them having grandkids now, it's like maybe can you think that it's a way of them, this is their second chance to be parents again, you know what I mean? Because like
it's like almost like a do-over.
Yes, like a do-over. Like the first time around, we were first-time parents. We didn't know how to raise our kids.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like how to adapt to like this new world now. Because when they first, obviously, you know, back then our parents are not from here, so you know. Well, I mean, I think yours are, but then like in the older, older generation, they only did what they knew and what they had at the time, right? But now with the whole world has adapted, they can probably be like, oh, now we have more resource, we're gonna, you know, raise our grandkids this way. So it's kind of like a do-over for them. And you know,
I never thought about it like that,
because that's the first thing that came to my mind. I'm like, okay,
second chance,
and yes, it's going to affect you, because you're like, wait, how come I didn't get the same treatment? Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like, I don't know. That's crazy.
You know what though? It's like healing for them, and then also I feel like healing for you too. Yes. Because you're like, they don't have to experience the trauma that I experienced, or experience the like messed up childhood I did, because they get grandma and grandpa, they get mom and dad, and they also get auntie. Yes. Like they get all perspectives. You know, so they don't have to experience that.
And essentially that should be the goal, right? That should be the goal. And I remember somebody saying this. I think was it Kathleen, that one time when we had a conversation or a podcast with her about, I mean, you know, back then they didn't have the resources, they didn't have all that. So of course, you know, they're going to just do what they can.
They did their best.
They did their best. And then the goal is to break all of these generational stuff where you do want the best for your kids, you know, like they deserve everything. So that way they don't have to experience all of the like deep, dark negatives and whatnot. You know, I'm very much like, me just speaking of kids in general and parenting, like whenever I do have mine own, like I do want the best for them, but at the same time I also want to do it in a way where I want them to earn these things. I don't want to just give everything to them, like be like a spoon fed, you know what I mean? I mean, that's just me personally.
You want to have some values that you grew up with too.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like a balance that you kind of have.
That's kind of like how me and Danny are right now. It's like I kind of want to go softer because I'm like, I experienced such bad things. And he's like, well, you can't give it all to them. Like, they gotta have some values. It is hard because
coming from you, since obviously you're living it.
Yeah, because I had it like really bad growing up. You know, we had it bad growing up. It was our childhood was very, very traumatizing. Right. You know, we talk about it all the time, but I don't want my kids to experience any of that. So when I get like even like a centimeter of that, I'm like, it triggers me, and I'm like, don't. I'm like, just like, no, like we're not gonna do that. Like we're gonna give them comfort. We're gonna, you know, hold their hand. We're gonna. And then Danny's like, you can't do that though. Like they're not gonna learn. I'm like, I know, but like it's tough. Hard. It's almost like a push and pull type thing.
Yes, I bet.
And then I don't know. It's rough. It's rough.
It's a learning process for you as a mother.
It is. I'm like, you're only a parent once. Like you don't know. Like we're all doing life for the first time. For the first
time together.
But yeah, that like takes me to like thinking about support people and like establishing relationships. That like brings me to my parents. Like, you know, they're getting older, and to me, it just. I want to rebuild those relationships with my parents, like because I think like you think about like how you grew up and you paint them in a certain light. Yeah. But to me, it's like since we've experienced death so much lately, I think I'm just getting to a point where I'm just like, I just want to know their life story. I want to film their life story. How was your childhood growing up? Like, I want to rebuild those connections with them because you never know.
You want to understand why it went the way it did. And I think that's the craziest thing is that because I remember having a conversation with Leslie, kind of connects with that, where, like the version that you got from, you know, your parents, or even if it's somebody that's really close to you growing up, like, obviously that's all you saw from this, or you kind of paint this picture in your head. We're almost like with a resentment, right? Yes. With a resentment. But then I think that speaks volume to us, millennials, is that we're so, like, we got like almost like not the best of both worlds. What is it? Like both ends of the stick, I guess, in a way, if you can explain it, because you've experienced and you've seen like the bad and all that. But then now that you've grown up into learning that, wait, maybe they do have good in them too, or they because of something, you know, something caused them to be the way that they are. So we're very much like graceful people, graceful generation.
We give it a lot of
grace because we give them so much grace because we're so understanding. We're such a generation that's so complex, and we think deeply. We think so deeply. I feel like that we're able to like put our pride aside and think, okay, like, let's get down to nitty gritty. Why did this happen? Or I'm trying to understand why. Like, you know what I mean? Like
they're like this for a reason. Okay, let's figure out why.
Why? Yeah.
What was the source of that? They obviously don't mean it from a bad point of view. So let's figure out what's underlying.
What's the underlying issue that caused this to happen in the first place? Just so that we can understand, rather than like, I mean, I'm not saying every single one of us, but I feel like the people that we're around, like, we're very much like with that mindset deep thinkers of like, okay, we can. I want to understand why, at least, even though yes, it hurt me and, you know, it tore me apart, but I want to understand why, so that way I can at least, like, you know, try to help her a little bit grace, and, you know, just, I don't know, because I've been seeing a lot of that too, and I've had these type of conversations with like other people before too, so it's kind of, I don't know, I want to give us some flowers for that, for having that type of mindset, because there's a lot of people out there that won't.
They just don't care.
They're like, you did me wrong, F you, I'm done. I'm gonna turn the other cheek too. You know what I mean? Rather than thinking about like, well, let me try to at least understand why. And as sad as, you know, it can get really, really dark. It really can. And I've really had conversations that, you know, can get really dark, and it's painful, it's hurtful, it's ugly. But then, you know what? Like, I don't know. It's just like, we're just I feel like people like us and have that type of mindset are just so
big-hearted. Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like in this world, it's easier to be mad
and just
than it is to have a good heart.
Yes.
Like, it's just easier if you decide to be mad and done and over with it, versus being a good person and having a good heart and giving people the benefit of the doubt.
Yes. Playing devil's avocado.
Yes.
Right? Like, man, it's just, I don't know. That's one thing about us too. We're very much big devil's avocado, you know, like we try to
see both ends of the coin, and then the outside as well.
Yes.
Not just you, me, but the other as well.
And I think that's what we should have more of that in this world. We should.
Need more of that.
If any, we need that more than anything right now. You know what I mean? Like just
benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt, man.
Give people some room for error. Give people some credit. They're human just like you.
We're all human at the end of the day.
Exactly.
Like, that's just crazy. But so obviously your support system, they are a big part of who you are, right?
Period,
they really do play a big part of your life and where you are at today. I agree with that 100% because your most like successful moment in your life, it all stems down to who was there for you too.
Yes.
Yeah. So
yes, I think not only that, but being mindful that it's okay to change the people around you.
Oh yeah, yes.
Like it's okay to, if your support system isn't working out for you, or the people in your life aren't you aren't aligned, it's okay to swap them out.
Yeah,
it's okay to weed them out, because at the end of the day, the people that you want around you should be the people that, like we said in the beginning, should be the ones that can pick you up when you're down without having to say a word. They should be the ones that know when something's wrong.
Yes. I was just gonna say that. It's crazy. I keep relating back to Leslie, but then because we had a similar conversation where just in general, and I agree with that, with your support system and the genuine people. If like, you shouldn't always have to be the one to initiate everything first.
It's tiring,
and we've been there. Having to initiate every single situation, reaching out first, always, anything in general, you know what I mean? It's exhausting, you know. So like I feel like you will know who your real people are when they do that too, when they initiate too.
It shouldn't have to feel like a job.
Yes.
Like I feel like if you are truly having a good support system, or just important people around you, like it shouldn't feel like a job. It should be 50-50. Like we're all adults.
Yes.
Like, you know, if you have someone that, you know, it just takes a lot, like babying them, like it's obviously they're not your support person, you know. But I think like being aware of that is also like a big step too, because you have to be able to ask yourself, like, is this person taking more than, you know, are they contributing equally in my life, or am I just, you know, giving more all the time and, you know, draining my own battery?
Absolutely. Unfortunately, I have been through some similar situations, you know, with people, and I wouldn't really consider it like, okay, I'm just not friends with them anymore, I'm never gonna talk to them anymore, because that's like high school behavior, immature. But I'm just kind of like learning who my my like ride or dies are, like my actual main support system, you know, that's right there with me. I'm learning slowly, you know, who those people are, and the other ones that are not as, like, you know, they don't really put in forth, like you said, contributing as much effort as much. And I'm just like, okay, I mean, that's cool. Like no animosity whatsoever. Like I'm just gonna distance myself from that, you know what I'm saying? Like I mean, and again, like how we said, like if you do need anything, of course I'm gonna be here, but I'm just not going to constantly always be initiating everything all the time anymore. You know what I mean? Because I just feel like it's not, like, I don't know, it's not a fair contribution.
It's not fair. And then also, like, as someone who, if you do value yourself as like a support person, or want to give like the important people in your life their flowers, like you got to ask yourself, am I doing enough for them as well? Like you can't, like, I feel like the victim mentality always comes out, and you're like, oh, like, you know, like maybe they're not doing enough for me. It's like, well, maybe you got to flip the switch. Am I doing enough for the people in my life? You know, and I think that's often, sometimes I question myself and have that battle within myself, because I'm like, the people that I value as important, I want to make sure they know that I value them. And that make sure that I'm doing enough for them. Like that's why I always feel like it's important to reach out, especially if you haven't talked to your people in a while. Reach out to them, like, hey, how are you? Like you said in the beginning, like, I'm here for you. I love you. I appreciate you. I value you. And if you ever need anything, like if you're going through a hard time or anything like that, like, I'm here for you. And know that even you just reaching out, like that's good too. Like, you know, just letting people verbally know that, hey, I still care for you. And you're still part of my circle, and like, I love you.
That's a really great point about you saying that. Am I doing enough for these people? That's, you know what that is right there?
Accountability.
Accountability and selflessness. And that's a big thing, and I see that in you. I see that in I mean, I guess myself. But no, I do see that in you, and I see that a lot in my sister-in-law. I see that in my mom too. My mom is very, very such a selfless person, and even my grandma, my nyatay, very, very, very selfless. And I feel like that's where we kind of like stem it from. I learned that from, like, you know, so being selfless is because, like, you know, you don't really think about yourself, which, I mean, blessing or curse again, you don't think about yourself first because you're thinking about, hey, am I showing up for my people enough? And that's where it turns into like, that's when you can kind of like you know, thin it out to where, okay, if they see that you're reaching out for them and they do the exact same back for you, boom, that's your match right there. That's like okay, that is your main support system, because they see that you value them, so of course they're gonna value you back. Now there has been times where I've done like a lot of that, bending over backwards for people, and then I don't get the same energy back. That's when I'm like, wait, why am I not getting the same energy back when it's my turn or whatever? Like, and then I don't see that as selfish, because I think that it's kind of like, again, it's like a fair game, you know? Like,
no, I think it's just being an adult and like holding the accountability, right? Like we're all adults. Like, you know, if I show you that I show up for you in a certain way, it should be known that you should show up for me in the same, or try to show up in the same, right? You know, but then I feel like when there's that disconnect, that's when, you know, like, well, maybe then it's not as deep as I thought as I was.
And it's a little sad sometimes, but then now that I'm more grown up, I'm like, I mean, I just brush it off. Like, okay, those are not the people that are meant to be, you know, in my, you know, main circle where I go to every single time, because they're not giving me the same energy back. So that's fine. I'm still obviously love you. I'll still be here for you, but I'm just not going to put as much effort into initiating every single time anymore, because.
And I think that takes big, like, I don't know, like, for you to realize that too, courage. Like, it does take courage, because then you, again, like, you're weeding out people that is in your circle, and sometimes it's like hard. It's like a hard talk you have to have with yourself. You're like, okay, well, maybe I just need to move on. Like, maybe, and that's okay. That's okay. Because, you know, it's a blessing and a curse, like you said. But you know what? It's better to have people, you know, that you love and trust around you than people that wouldn't even do the same.
Right, that are kind of like half-assed. Like, sometimes, like, I mean, it used to really affect me. It used to really get to me. I'm like, why are these people just so half-assing with me when I'm like bending over backwards? But then, like, I mean, now that as I'm getting older, I'm like, I mean, honestly, it's a blessing in disguise, if anything. You know, I'm like, you know, like, the universe is showing me that, well, these people are not really, you know, they don't really, maybe they just don't really prioritize you as much as you do to them. So, you know, it's time to just focus on the people that will and do prioritize you just as much as you do. You know,
them. And I had that experience too, especially with a couple of friends that I grew close with. And I'm like, well, I just literally, I mean, I was like on the opposite end. I would feel like they would be reaching out, and then I'm like, well, I don't really like vibe with you like that.
I love the transparency, right?
Because I'm like, I don't really vibe with you like that, so I'm not gonna initiate, or I'm not gonna put into effort. Like,
I love the honesty.
Yeah, and so I feel like that really happened to me this year, and I'm just like, I don't vibe with you like that no more. So I'm not gonna even try. And so I think the energy was reciprocated as well, and I'm like, okay, then we can just dissolve this, because it's not working.
And that's a very, very mature thing to do, you know, and especially I give you props for admitting that, because I mean, surely I'm sure a lot of people can, if they really sit down and think about it, if they can admit to it, if you can admit to it, I'm gonna give you props. I'm gonna give you respect for that. That's respect. I respect that, you know, rather than people that are kind of like, you know,
stringing you along. Right. I feel like that's even more disrespectful.
That's even more disrespectful. That's even worse.
Yeah.
Like, if you're just kind of like, well, I mean, I do want to be here for you, but blah, blah, blah. I don't know. I mean, it can turn into a whole nother thing about, like, but you know what I mean? Like, I respect you for admitting that.
And I think that was just like,
and that's real.
I don't know, like, I feel like when you're on the other side, it's you like the ball's in your court.
Yes.
Like, when they show something, and then you're like, okay, am I going to reciprocate it, or am I going to make the decision right here, right now? Like, if I don't want to continue with the friendship or the relationship or whatever. But yeah, I made that decision. I was just like, I don't vibe with you no more. Like, and
that's okay.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
I think just being honest goes a long way too.
Honest, integrity. Okay, we speak we talk about integrity every day at to kids at school and whatnot, because it's a real thing. Like, it goes a long way. You know, as long as if you have integrity, then that's cool. Like, me too. Now, I've been saying this a lot lately too. That, you know, I will give you respect, and whether if it sounds kind of like harsh or whatever, I respect you for being honest.
Yeah,
I'd rather have the upfront, honest, whatever it is, right here and then, rather than you beating around the bush.
Yeah,
I don't respect beating around the bush. You know what I'm saying?
I hate people that beat around the bush. Like, it's either I'm either gonna be quiet with you or just talk to you because I have to, or like be like all in.
It just
like,
rubs me the wrong way because like as adults, I mean,
we're all just kids in the inside.
Honestly, we're literally yeah, like just do what you gotta do. Just be straight up and honest. Like I'll understand if you just tell me that you really have something where like I don't know, like just be upfront and.
Or if you don't like me anymore, and like that was the hard thing with this friendship. I was like, I just don't like you anymore. Like. like we've come to a point where it's like our values don't align
anymore.
And
that's the exact thing too. That's really good. I mean, you have a reason. Yeah, you have at least a legitimate reason. Like, hey, I just we're just not rocking the same anymore, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
That's okay.
And that's okay.
I'm not gonna like everyone. Everyone's not gonna like me.
As long as if you can admit that to each other and just be like respectful about it, cordial about it, then okay, cool. Yeah. Fortunately, I haven't really had anything like that around me yet. Like, but I mean, I have people around in my life that obviously have different values than me, yes, but I mean I don't really necessarily feel like I'm just gonna cut you off and cut ties because I mean because for me I will still be cordial with everybody, right? I will still be cordial. I try to, right. I still be cordial with everybody and whatnot, and if you invite me to do something and if I'm free, then but I'm not gonna, if I have those type of situations, go out of my way. I'm not gonna go out of my way to reach out or be like, okay, I will cancel this just to hang out with you. Like you have to really in this point of view, I do pick and choose. I
feel like that's only respectful to yourself.
Yes.
Like if you don't pick and choose, that's like almost like saying like I don't value where I stand, and I will still bend backwards for someone who doesn't even show an ounce for me. Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like that's just respecting your own boundary.
Your own boundaries for sure. Yeah. And everybody's different. There's people out there that will say yes to everything and everything, and granted that used to be me. I will very much right. Yes, all of us, both of us, we used to very much say yes to everything and everyone, no matter the circumstances, just because I think I wanted to feel involved and I wanted to feel accepted. But
it's almost like toxic involvement.
It is toxic thinking about it now. Like I just really wanted to be involved, and I essentially like accepted, I guess. I don't know if that goes back to childhood trauma or whatever, but I just wanted to feel accepted and feel very much people pleaser. But then nowadays I'm just kind of like if it doesn't really benefit me or it doesn't bring me like true joy or like
protecting my peace,
protecting my peace literally, then I'm like nah, like I'm good. And just putting your energy into something else that will really like
something that you value, that you actually love.
Exactly.
And that's okay. Like I will always say, put yourself first. Do what you gotta do.
You really have to. So let us know. Do you agree with us or what we have said in this episode? And or I mean, how do you feel about that? Especially now, with us being older or whatnot. And I mean, just to any listeners out there, think about your support system, about your group, and can you kind of point out who are the ones that automatically you can run to and they'll be there for you too?
Yeah, and I want to say like, maybe give this opportunity, since you listened to this episode, an opportunity to give the people that you love their flowers. Like let them know that you love and respect them, because honestly life is too short and you never know what's going to happen. So verbally letting people know that you love and appreciate them goes a very long way. And also like give yourself your flowers too for just getting to the point where you are in life. And honestly, like I feel like we always forget about giving ourselves our flowers.
We always put ourselves in the back.
Always, but yeah, make this like an opportunity to also reflect on how far you've come as well.
I love
and
that.
Let people in your life know that you love and appreciate them, like for sure.
One thing I also want to push out there, I'm not much of a pusher. She's a pusher. She's gonna push. That's right?
Mean Girls.
Yeah. Anyway, I really, really want to push for everybody to practice more integrity, please. Like integrity will really, really go a long way. And if you don't know what integrity is,
search it up on Google.
Integrity, I mean,
we'll put it right here. Integrity is boop. Period.
Exactly.
As always, we upload a new episode every Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. You can find us at 116 Hotline right here on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We are at 116 Hotline on all of those platforms. If you have any topic suggestions, feel free to slide in our DMs. If you have any guest requests that anyone in particular that you would like to see, maybe like advocate of some sort, single mom, a guy, or whatever your suggestion is, let us know in the comments or DM us. We are open. And as always, we are also open for sponsorships always.
Yes.
I always forget to say that, but we, if you want to sponsor us in any way, shape, or form, like these headphones, like our recording equipment, anything like that, we've gotten sponsors for. We've even gotten sponsors for places for us to film the podcast.
Yes.
We'll give you a shout out on our podcast. Anything like that, let us know. You can email us. I'll put the email right here and then also below as well, or you can also DM us.
Yes. And also just really want to throw it out there that whenever, we come out, our episodes come out on Mondays at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, but sometimes we've been having a lot of technical difficulties
with Spotify.
Spotify. So just keep an eye out. We'll post on our socials and whatnot if it is delayed.
Yes, so we will try not to be delayed, but if it is, in the event that it is,
yes,
check our socials. Okay, see you next week.
Bye.